Today on the TMZ Podcast.
Welcome to the TMZ Podcast. Harvey Levin here.
Eric.
Courtney here.
And Babcock here.
So we got to start with Kanye West because I honestly, I think this is the most relatable issue that we've seen with Kanye and Kim. That this applies to so many people who are getting divorced.
But not even getting divorced. Married couples that are still going through it. Like, I know tons of what do you do with your kids on social media at such a young age?
Absolutely. So, but I do think the divorce is really critical here.
Yeah.
So Kanye posted, he posted this over the, actually overnight. He said, and I love this. We're going to unpack it. Since this is my first divorce, I need to know what I should do about my daughter being put on TikTok against my will. So what happened was Kim posted a TikTok video of her and North lip syncing a song.
And a Ray Shremmer's song.
A Ray Shremmer's song.
They have an account together, Kim and North. Yeah.
So Kanye is pissed off, clearly.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want his daughter on TikTok. She's 8 years old. And you're right. I mean, this applies to married people, but I think it really applies to divorced people when they're trying to go through it and figure out co-parenting. And it's very clear they are having major issues.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, because okay, so Kanye West definitely threw shade in this post to Kim Kardashian because he said my first divorce. She has been divorced 3 times now, so he just had to add that into her.
But she's never been divorced with children.
With kids, I know. So I'm like, but he wanted to make that point, and he made it very clear that he wanted to do it. But I'm also like, would Kanye care this much if they weren't getting divorced out of Kim and North were doing TikTok, or is it just because they are and he feels like he wants more
I've said all along, I think it's control with Kanye because even the way he phrased it, it wasn't like, I don't like my kid being on TikTok. It's like, she's on TikTok against my will. Right.
Because
if he was with North for the weekend and did a TikTok video,
that would be
he'd be totally fine with it.
Yeah, because he's like brought her on stage with her to perform before. Like, he knows that she's a public figure.
They have not hid the kids.
And
so she's been on TikTok for a while.
And she's been on their show on Keeping Up the Kardashians.
Now, what we don't know is what did Kanye say to Kim beforehand?
Yes, has it already been discussed? And then she did it still.
And why would she do it still?
Yes.
And I think that's kind of what underlies it. But again, this
doesn't. I don't think the way he went about it helps the issue. Obviously, Kim and Kanye are having issues.
Everything is done on social media.
But everybody doesn't have millions and millions of followers like Kanye West does.
But do you think he said?
Oh, I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying it's the way people live these days.
But do you think since he said against my will that they've had the discussion before? Because this isn't North's first TikTok. She's been on it before, so this wouldn't be the first time that this has been brought up.
If this was his last-ditch effort to get something done, he says, I have to go public, then I get it. But if he hasn't talked to Kim about it, then I don't think this is going to, he's not going to make much headway here, I don't think.
And I could believe they maybe haven't discussed it. He just saw, I didn't give permission for that. Everything needs to be run through him, and it doesn't.
Well, there is
it's a pretty harmless video.
I mean, there is a little precedent here, because a couple of weeks ago, when Chicago had her birthday party, there was a situation where Kanye said that I've been excluded from a party, and Kim was saying, well, you never said you wanted to come. Yeah. So the issue is
you were going to have your own party.
Right. They seemingly have terrible communication.
That's right. I mean, I think
terrible communication.
Terrible communication. But
and I think that's I've never been divorced either. But I think that's what you need, right? You have
are you throwing shade at Kim too?
No shade, Kim. No,
you haven't even been married.
I've never been married either. So I don't know what communication is like with someone that you've divorced, but I feel like that's a key to having a good, successful divorce.
Even for Kim, having been through it before, I imagine divorce with Chris Humphries was a lot easier than divorce with Kanye.
1,000%.
Everything is harder with Kanye.
I don't think that divorce was so easy.
Well, it took forever.
Well, I think there was some acrimony in that, too.
Oh, got you. What divorce is taking longer? Because Kim and Kanye have almost been divorced now for a year, right?
They're not divorced.
They're separated.
They're separated, but
she has actually gone to court and said to the judge, I want my single status restored immediately.
Yeah.
And you can deal with the custody and the property issues later. And that should happen next month where it's restored. But, this is an issue for a lot of parents. And for them, especially, where the Kardashians live on social media, if he's really against it, how are they going to resolve this?
I don't know how you go.
I don't know if it is resolvable. And
it's got to be.
Is that going to be beyond Kim and Kanye, just a thing for parents in the future? Like when you get divorced and you work out agreements with children, do you have to work out the child's social media if it's a minor?
I think you do.
That's a weird thing to think about.
No. But I think this has been going on for 10 years. I mean,
probably.
But now I think it's been ratcheted up with TikTok.
Oh,
we haven't seen
TikTok's-
anything like
yeah.
TikTok
Yeah, there weren't
before.
8-year-olds on Instagram 10 years ago.
Really
No.
young kids now, Harvey. On
They all
TikTok.
like want to make dances.
You
like,
know what's
Yeah.
going to happen. I mean, they seem to have worked out the custody issue before, but I'm not sure that sticks anymore. And I think what they may end up doing is having a judge decide exactly what the ground rules are for social media.
And they could do that.
Because if the parents can't and they're fighting
so
over
a
it,
judge could actually say, North, you cannot be on
a
TikTok.
judge could say in the custody order, if they can't agree on it, the judge could say the only way they could go on TikTok is if X happens.
Wow.
Yeah.
What if that's like a big precedent thing? Like 50 years from now, lawyers are citing,
There's
West v. Kardashian for social media.
I don't think. I don't.
take it all the way to the Supreme Court. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Do you think if he was singing if they were singing
Would she represent herself in Supreme Court?
Yeah, she would.
She would.
It'd be really fun if he did too.
Oh, that would be entertaining.
Okay.
That's good TV.
Okay, so we're going to move on. Oh my God. Okay, so a rabbi from the Simon Wiesenthal Center, a great place in L.A., is suggesting that The View should air its show and do the show from the Museum of Tolerance at the Temple for a week. Because he thinks it is The View's responsibility to educate people in the wake of what happened with Whoopi Goldberg. At first, I thought, come on. And then I started thinking about it. And I'm not sure this is such a wacky idea. And I'll tell you why. Again, I'm just, I'll declare my bias here. I just think it was absurd to suspend Whoopi Goldberg. I think it was absolutely... she was a sacrificial lamb for ABC being afraid that they were going to take heat because Sharon Osbourne got suspended from the talk for supporting Piers Morgan, and that they felt they needed. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of, because Whoopi Goldberg doesn't need to sit in a corner for 2 weeks. She figured it out. She understands it. She apologized. What more can she do? But ABC wanted the pound of flesh. So given that, if ABC is now making this such an issue that, they have put things out that have hurt people and everything else, and ABC actually says in its suspension statement, oh, and we support the Jewish community.
Right.
Why would they say that?
It's
It's so gratuitous. Well, maybe they should do the show from there. Why not? And educate people.
I mean, isn't that starting to set a weird precedent then? I
It's an
understand it.
entertainment-
I
it's an
understand
entertainment
talking
show.
about it.
I
And
think
it's not the audience that needs to be
the-
educated.
I
It's
know.
if anyone, it's Whoopi who had to educate.
the audience.
my sarcasm needs to surface a little better.
So they want to do this after Whoopi comes back from suspension, right?
They didn't say. He
I
didn't
mean, I would
you
assume they want her
imagine if-
there, or else what's the point?
Right.
Could you imagine if all the other co-hosts had to go through it and Whoopi didn't? She's just in Hawaii on her suspension. Come on.
But I mean, the reason I'm saying it is it's just ridiculous that we've gotten to the point where people on a live opinion show get punished for their opinions if they dare cross the line a little bit and say something wrong, which everybody
Nobody
does.
should. But here's the issue: the rules have to be applied evenly.
Do they?
Yes.
Okay, well, how about this?
Absolutely.
Then how about this for the rule? CBS was wrong to suspend Sharon Osbourne for simply saying, I support Piers Morgan. Now, I disagree with Piers Morgan on what he
Sure.
said, but
But you agree with his right to say it.
Wait,
Yeah,
wait, what was what was it about?
he
Was it
was-
about Meghan Markle?
he
Was
was
there something racist?
No, he was. No, I believe
They were racial. That's what they weren't just mad that she supported Piers Morgan. I think
No.
Particularly, he said something about Meghan Markle.
It was
that she
about
agreed
mental
with.
health. It was about mental health.
But it might have been the Oprah interview also.
It was no.
I can't
It
remember
was.
what the
I feel like
allegation
he
was.
questioned her
He was
mental health.
doubting. He was doubting that
Right.
she was going through the mental struggle.
Right,
I
right.
disagree
Sure.
with Piers Morgan. I
Right.
disagree with him. She was saying he's my friend. I support him. Now, look, I disagree with that. But explain the suspension part of that.
No, I
to
don't
me.
get it.
Okay,
We've gotten crazy.
Then
here.
if you have to,
I say
but hold
nobody
on.
harm should be suspended.
Huh?
I'm for nobody being
Okay,
suspended.
but given
I hate
given
this
that
cancel culture
Sharon
and this-
was, if
Yeah.
you think it wasn't right,
Yeah.
why not then?
No, you're right. And look, and you've got to start somewhere. At some point, we've got to come back to common sense. All I am
And by
saying,
the way, if Piers Morgan, if the comment were racial,
yeah,
that would be different. But my understanding is, and I looked at this yesterday, it was about
But we're not even talking about peers, though.
which by the way is a really serious issue about mental health.
Absolutely.
And I think he's wrong.
But
that's his opinion.
Look, all Sharon said, and not to talk about a really old story here, but all she said was, "I support somebody I've known for a long time."
Yeah.
She wasn't
So what about
supporting
Whoopi?
what he said.
So what about Whoopi? What about Whoopi? I mean, if they,
there's been a precedent set. I mean, look. ABC is owned by Disney. Disney fired Gina Carano for making similarly offensive, you could argue, anti-Semitic comments about the Jewish community. So that's what I mean by applying the rules evenly.
I mean, I'm all for being fair and applying the rule. Everybody should be held accountable the same way, but it's not. The context is not the same. What Whoopi said was, in her mind, she was saying that like Jews weren't black, so to her it wasn't a racial issue. And so you can't educate somebody that it is a different situation. But Gina Carano, she was retweeting and reposting virulently anti-Semitic cartoons with swastikas and Jews as like
totally
rats
different.
and things. Like it was much more offensive and more aggressive.
Totally different.
She didn't just say, "I don't know the column."
Nobody's really saying what Whoopi. Nobody's saying what Whoopi did was anti-Semitic. It was ignorant. She shouldn't have said it. But. Well, and I mean, look, I don't even want to say that. I don't think that's fair to Whoopi. And I'm Jewish. I don't think I should say that because from her experience, growing up as a black person, she always viewed race as an issue of color.
Right, which it's not.
But I could understand somebody growing up.
Made up construct.
But all I'm saying to you is it's wrong.
Right.
But I can at least understand where it comes from.
Here's where the counterpoint would be. And I've heard people say this, and I'm not Jewish, so.
Yes.
I totally forgot what I was going to say.
Okay, well,
Babcock's thinking about that 2 weeks off right now.
I know.
Look, all I'm saying is
my mind just went completely blank.
As happens to me.
I had a great point.
Did you? Dude, welcome to my world.
Maybe I'll think I'm getting
welcome
old.
to my world. All I'm saying is what Whoopi said was wrong. But the thing about it is, it wasn't said with malice.
I thought of it.
And
do you think?
We're waiting.
There was anti-Semitism that is, you could argue, raging out of control across the country.
That's
right?
true.
And I think a lot of people felt like it was her saying Jewish people can't be victims. It's not a race issue. It's just white people killing white people. And meanwhile, then you have a lot of Jewish people looking around the country saying, "Hey, we're getting beat up here badly. Anti-Semitism out of control, and we're saying this is not about us being targeted." And
you
understand what I'm saying?
I do, and I think you're right. I think it could be interpreted that way. But you have to also look at her background, and she's been a big supporter of the Jewish community for decades. So I think that statement, depending on who delivers it, can be viewed differently based on their background.
Sure.
And all I'm saying,
I think the background should matter because the heart.
Well, if it matters, then Whoopi Goldberg's not anti-Semitic.
Yeah, but I think it's someone that's so far left the pass, like. She's so far left, and if you give the left person a pass first before the right, then it's going to cause more tension.
And I think she's been very.
Won't it?
She has been someone who has called for people to be fired and stuff in the past. So I don't know that too many people feel sorry for her. I do not believe she should have been suspended. I don't think anyone should be suspended unless you say something that you are trying to be offensive. Your heart is bad. I don't think you should be offended. It's a talk show. It's an opinion show. You're supposed to give kind of big ideas. Nobody should.
No, I agree with you on that. Like, if it is that Whoopi was genuinely ignorant about this, then bring a rabbi on The View and then talk about it, and then educate Whoopi and the audience.
I certainly don't.
Do you think that's necessary based on her apology?
Maybe because there are probably people who watch the show who maybe think like Whoopi. So you're not just educating Whoopi Goldberg. If you really care about it, then bring someone on. I mean, it is a talk show. Bring someone to talk about it.
Sure, you could do that.
I mean, why not? It's just one segment.
You could do that. But I just feel like we are in a state in this country right now where the fact that we're talking about, it's almost like this panel, should Whoopi Goldberg be suspended? Should so-and-so be canceled? It's like, that's all we talk about. And if you look at what's going on, this is driven by a relatively small group of people on social media with megaphones because of that,
and they get companies and organizations
and
to
they're
comply.
scared, and the companies are scared, and we are literally running society in America based on
a few tweets.
It's insane.
It's insane.
And as you
changed
said,
the entire country.
And like at a point where there are pro-Nazi rallies happening in Florida right now. Like, let's focus on the real problems. Like, that's a much bigger issue than Whoopi Goldberg.
And by the way, on the marches in Florida, I keep going back to you look at what it used to be, where the ACLU president would say, who was Jewish and who had relatives die in the Holocaust, said he was the guy that fought for their right to march in Skokie, Illinois, and did it because he said, if you don't allow views you find abhorrent, then they're going to turn on you someday.
Yeah. Right.
And that's just the way
it
is.
And
that would not happen
This
today.
is a genuine question. I am for free speech for anybody, whether I agree with them or not. But also, hate speech is not protected. So if these Nazis want to wave their flags and whatever, fine. But there's video of them screaming all these anti-Semitic things. It is clearly hate speech.
Yeah, no.
Yes.
How is that then all right?
I get
At
it.
what point do we say, you know what?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is America. You're free. You can say what you want.
Right.
But
at
you
a
don't want to
certain
become
point-
Nazi Germany.
But Eric, I think that's the argument we should be having.
It is.
Instead, the argument we're having is if somebody says something on live TV and apologizes, this is how far we've gone from the issues we should be talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Okay, let's talk.
That's a good conversation, though.
It is. I want to talk
Stop
about
suspending people.
I want to talk about the Super Bowl because I just love this. I mean, how incredibly fantastic is it that the public health department in LA County now is going to have popcorn police patrolling the aisles at SoFi Stadium during the Super Bowl game to make sure people are eating popcorn fast enough.
Right.
He said that they're on to us.
Right. So
At all the stadium.
Right.
I want to know how many people were they catching? It was like that person has ate popcorn for 2 hours.
So there's in LA County where the Super Bowl obviously is happening. There is a rule. You have over 5,000 people. You got to wear a mask. Okay. That obviously includes watching the football game, and they say
You think they're going to get more than 5,000 in the
I think so. Yeah, probably.
Really?
They say, don't think you're going to be slick and get around this mandate by ordering popcorn and just eating it slow and watching the game without a mask.
Because we're going to have people patrolling
on
the
every
area.
level. They say they're
So
going
it's
to
like,
have
sir,
monitors.
Sir, I watched you for 3 minutes. You
Right.
ate an average of 4 kernels
Yeah.
per minute.
Right, that's not fast.
That is unacceptable.
Right.
We need you to double the number of double the intake, or we're going to boot you.
Right.
What are we
I have no
talking
idea.
By the way,
about?
people who are paying thousands and thousands of dollars
Who
for
cares?
tickets.
That's
too.
irrelevant.
No, I know.
That's
I know.
irrelevant.
So
Like,
what, do they have
kick
like
people out?
15 minutes to finish a small
But
popcorn?
this
I
is-
don't understand
This is one of the
it.
reasons why these rules, people are just done with it because there's, it's like these restaurant rules, which initially everybody thought, oh, thank God.
Right.
It's like you can walk in the restaurant, but you have to wear a mask. When you sit down, you can take.
Right.
What?
It's like, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No
Makes
common
no sense.
Either you're taking the chance or you're not.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
And I've been, I went to a WWE event, I went to a UFC fight, and they're both significantly smaller, maybe 15,000 people. You wear a mask inside because they make you. You show your vaccination status that you have the vax, and you go inside and everyone takes the mask off. Nobody wears a mask inside.
I know.
No.
It's
But
not gonna, no one's going to wear it at the Super Bowl.
But what
You
is
can't
thi-
enforce it. It's
what is
unenforceable.
this? But
I just like to picture
It's to scare people.
like,
And-
like the high school principal walking by, just being like,
Right,
got my eyes
yeah.
on you.
Right,
I saw
right.
that.
It's
I mean, that's so
unenforceable.
dumb.
They can't afford. I think they're saying this because they're trying to scare people into keeping the mask on.
Yeah.
It
They
will be
can't
interesting
enforce
the day after the Super Bowl to see if anybody was removed from SoFi Stadium for
Oh
taking
my
too long to
God,
eat their
that will
popcorn.
be hysterical.
I can't
I bet
imagine
there will
it.
be nobody.
it.
Nobody.
But it's like, what? This is the public health department saying this.
Yeah, it's so weird.
It's absurd.
I know. It
And
makes
that-
no sense.
There's so many other ways to get around it. Like, you can have like a hot dog, you can drink the entire time. People are going to figure out a way to like get around
Which
it.
one do you like?
Gee, let's think for a second.
I had to throw food on top of the drinking so I didn't seem like I had
Yeah,
a
if they
problem.
yelled at Courtney for not having her mask on, they'd be like, well, I've watched her. She never stopped drinking. I don't know.
I know. Well, and especially it's
No, we
hard.
can explain.
It was a steady stream. It never stopped.
Well, and it's hard because you see like Eric Garcetti at like the games not
Oh.
wearing a mask, and then he was like, "I was holding my
that's
breath.
funny.
I
It
was
wasn't
holding
breathing.
my breath."
Yeah, that
Like
was
it's like, oh my
right.
God, the
Yeah.
public officials
Magic
are.
Johnson posted a photo of Eric Garcetti.
The mayor of Los Angeles.
Right,
Yes.
mayor of Los Angeles, and Gavin Newsom, the governor of California. Neither of them had a mask on.
No.
Well, but I mean, when he
Eric
said
Garcetti.
I was holding my breath.
I'm used to criticism as a public figure. I've been wearing a mask the entire game long. People want a picture, I hold my breath. Zero risk.
It is like it is so Bill. It is so Bill Clinton, 1992. I didn't inhale
I didn't inhale or exhale.
or exhale. Oh my God. Okay, let's end with this. Was putting Rudy Giuliani on The Masked Singer a smart move or a bad move for Fox?
Brilliant.
Brilliant.
A brilliant idea.
Brilliant idea.
Brilliant idea.
It is going to it's polarizing.
Yes.
Yeah, and Right.
Well,
The worst
now-
thing people
Whether
could be
you
is
like him or
indifferent.
not, it was a
Right.
brilliant idea to put him on the
Right.
show.
If
Because
you
when's the
guys
last time
hate
we
him,
talked
you're gonna-
about a Masked Singer contestant?
Right.
And I haven't watched The Masked Singer in quite a few seasons, but like now I want to watch it because I want to see like what happened. Just hear that 2 judges walked off stage because they were so upset that
It's good for the people that like
Yes.
Rudy, and it's better for the people that hate Rudy.
Yeah,
because they're gonna
either way,
watch.
you want to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to know what costume he was wearing.
Right.
And there's like
A
so
voting
many,
machine.
really.
And also,
I have no idea.
and for being honest, I kind of really want to know what song Rudy was singing.
yes,
I know.
like
I mean, it
there's
had to
so
be New York,
many.
New York, right?
Oh no, it's 2 on the nose.
Right. That would be a dead giveaway.
So you think
What
it's
a fool
like
believes?
Was there a song? what was the theme song from the movie Election?
I don't know.
I have
Okay.
no idea.
Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you Monday.
Bye.
Bye.